ride, teach, inspire. This is the Dropping Next podcast, brought to you by the Canadian Association of Snowboard Instructors. Welcome back to the Dropping Next podcast. I'm Rob Whalen, and I will be hosting here episode 6 alongside Jen Piloteau and Jeff Chandler. Thanks to everyone who's been listening so far. It's been such a fun project to develop, and we're excited to hop into another episode. We have an inspiring show coming today, and it's going to be more of a kind of interview format with a member, and that member is sitting with us here. It's Michelle Clifford, and Michelle is a level 4 with CASI, a level 4 evaluator, and also happens to be holding one of our industry's highest distinctions, being a 4x4, which means she's also a level 4 with our sister organization, the CSIA, and the only female to accomplish this, which is pretty rad. She comes by her passion honestly, having been raised on Mount Pakenham in the Ottawa Valley, a hill that was founded by her grandparents in the early 60s and continues to be run by her family to this day. She's a mother of 3 and somehow maintained her high performance in sport, all while raising good little humans. A true outdoor sports professional, she shifts her focus to whitewater in the summer, raft guiding, and kayaking on the Ottawa River with wilderness tours. And we're really stoked to be having this conversation and sharing her story with our CASI community. Michelle, welcome to Dropping Next.
Hi. Thanks. I feel like I'm blushing right now with that intro. Thank you.
Well, you earned it. Some cool stuff in there. So our idea for the episode is to sort of touch on the items I touched on in your intro. So we'll kind of meander our way through those and have a nice little chat. And so I thought, why not start with the heavy hitter? We'll talk about your 4x4 certification. The people need to know. This is a snowboarding podcast, but which one came first?
Snowboarding came first. Well, I achieved that level 4 certification first, but I think I started when I was a teenager skiing and certified that first, and then just continued going back and forth. Did some race coaching in there as well for skiing, and then getting to this point was never really a goal. It just sort of organically happened at some point that I figured, why not continue? It's kind of fun. I like to learn and I like to kind of master the craft that I'm working at. So why not? Yeah.
Why not? Good answer. Well, it's a pretty cool thing that you've obviously spent a long time working towards. What was the timeline for that progression?
Well, I got my level 1, I think when I don't even remember what the age was, maybe 15 or 16 at that time. And I achieved my level 4 ski, I think in 2021. So whatever that time frame is. But again, I've always skied and I always snowboarded and I always taught, but it was never like something that I was actively working towards until like within the last 10 or 15 years that I thought I should continue pursuing it and see where it takes me. And I had a lot of people to look up to and people that I like, if they could do it, I can do it. So I kind of just kept marching forward until I got her done.
What you mentioned that there were some people you saw coming up that you said, oh, well, this is inspiring. Maybe I'll go for it too. Who were some of those mentors or inspirations?
Well, Jen was definitely one of them on the snowboard side. I remember going to evaluator training for years in Tremblant and being like, I wish I spoke French and I could go into that group, and because she seems pretty cool. So when she got it, and then just working out west in Fernie, having a pretty good crew of snowboarders out there, I kind of bit the bullet and was convinced that I should continue doing this. On the ski side, in this region, there's a healthy number of level 3 and level 4s that were kind of just my cheerleaders along the way. So despite some personal feelings in the ski endeavor, I had some cheerleaders kind of rooting for me, so I figured keep going and push through, and here I am.
Jen, you didn't want to welcome her into that French group?
Oh, I wish. Yeah, she was definitely welcome in the French group, but I would have had to probably translate part of it.
I was pretty
Yeah.
shy. I don't even know. I just sort of kept to myself and just kind of fangirled. So Jen probably was like, "Who is that person?"
No, I think we had a similar feeling, like wanting to get to know each other, and
Yeah,
here we
probably.
are.
But a language barrier. I'm not very confident in that language, so kept to myself.
So I find it fascinating being at that level in two different sports that kind of go side by each a little bit. Um, and I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on like how does one feed the other?
Well, I definitely transfer a lot of the skills from one to the other, teaching and skiing or riding. I've learned a lot of like kind of structuring my day and my plan and my lessons from the snowboard side that I transfer over to the ski side, and I like some of the language that the skiers use that I try and incorporate when I'm teaching lessons. So I'm pretty happy with how the two interact, and like I often will talk about pizzas and french fries when I should talk about side flipping or vice versa, but at the end of the day the meaning is the same, and I always correct myself. But um I can draw on both skills and both disciplines pretty well and transfer that to other, like some of our instructors at the hill I work at. I'll be able to maybe explain it slightly differently because of the background on both sides, which is kind of neat.
So I got a question kind of following this one. As you said, you did your level 4 skiing after your level 4 snowboarding. So did you feel that what you learn and what you use through your process of the snowboard CASI levels helped you with the CSIA? Like, did you use a bit of those strategies and methods?
Totally. I do, like when I set up sessions or lessons, I need a bit of a checklist of things that I need to talk about and formulate in my head before I can present it. And that's what I really value from Cassie, is giving me those tools and those kind of, it's not a recipe, but it's like the ingredients of a recipe. And without those, I have a hard time streamlining where I want to take that. So I took that from Cassie and kind of created my own sessions that way on the ski side. Because I've always felt it was a little bit more open for interpretation. And so I really needed to kind of put these elements together and to give me a clear pathway. So that's what I
That's
took from Cassie and bringing it over to the ski.
That's
Nice.
really cool. That's really cool to hear. That was something that I was really inspired by when I was on your level 4 teaching module earlier this winter, and your concept of setting the table,
Yeah.
as your kind of intro. That really resonated with me, and you kind of just spoke to it there. Put all the things on your plate. Once the plate's full, you can start. Start
Yeah.
eating.
And depending on what kind of food you're looking for, outcome you're looking for, depends on the ingredients and what's on that table. Yeah, I'm in my head. I have a vision of it. It's really hard to kind of put it into words, but that's how I structure a lot of things.
And you probably take that outside of sport as well, I would imagine.
Yes, a lot more than I should probably. I think I could be a little bit more loose, but sometimes I need to know all of these things before I can proceed.
Well, it seems to be working for you. So the standard, in terms of, well, I know the riding standard's quite high, and obviously it is for the skiing side. How do you personally maintain that?
Oh,
Times 2, right? You only have so many days on snow.
Yes. And if you've ever been to Pakenham, like you have, that's like 280 vertical feet of green pitch. So, I mean, I get out as much as I can on the terrain that I have. I do my best when I do get to steeper stuff or any opportunity with a longer. I'm pretty thoughtful with my approach. I know we've talked about like having an intention before dropping in, so your demonstration is really like on point. I have a hard time just kind of letting go and being loose. I like to make sure that I remember what I'm doing and that I feel good about it and make sure it looks the way it feels or feels the way it looks. I don't know. So I'm pretty thoughtful before I drop in when I get anywhere outside of Pakenham. In my dreams and when I'm thinking in my head on my drive to work, I'm really good at skiing and snowboarding. And kind of always, there's always a little bit going on in my head. If I'm trying to figure out a new movement pattern or a new trick, I'm kind of replaying it in my head a bit of what that looks like. So when I go on snow, I kind of have already thought about a lot of the elements required and I can just do it or try to do it and kind of check in like, oh, did that feel like or how I thought it should? So I do a lot of mental training, I think, without really putting a big label to it. Maybe that's called anxiety, but I also think it plays a big part because I don't have the Sunshine or the Lake Louise or the Whistler slopes or Tremblant slopes at my disposal all the time. So I have to be a little bit, think outside the box a little bit in terms of that training. So when I go and teach or when I go and do courses, I can feel as ready as I can.
Nice. So visualization is a big technique, and
Yeah.
that you're using. That's really cool.
Well, and there's
Well, no, go
sorry, I
for
was
it,
just gonna
Jeff.
say, there's a lot of value to that. I mean, I'm not an expert on that side of the, performance, but there's a lot of value to that visualization and that process of repeating things in your head to make them familiar when you're actually doing them physically. And
Yeah, I did a lot. Again, I'm not an expert at it. I've done enough research and talked to enough people that was definitely a way for me training for both of these disciplines at this level 4 that helped me get through the days when I knew that I wasn't going to go to a steep pitch or bumps or something, that I was still kind of thinking about it and kind of coming up with my own way of training. So then when I did get to the slopes, it was like, okay, go do, perform. And I had that kind of in the back of my head.
And it did really pay off because achieving your most recent status as a level 4 evaluator, you got to drop in with those intention, and that definitely shows that you're really thoughtful before dropping in, right?
I'm trying. Again, it's never perfect, but I definitely do my best. That's for sure.
Well, it sounds like you're really intentional with everything that you do, and I think that speaks to why you are where you are. You can't just come at this type of thing haphazardly. You need to be pretty dialed, both physically and mentally. That's kind of really cool to get inside your brain and hear your process there.
Yeah, I try and keep it cool and like it's no big deal, but I guess I do a lot more on the inside than others might see on the outside.
I feel it's a really creative way of training, creating variation.
Definitely.
So, words of advice for I call them duallies. Is that a thing? Do people say that? Dual certified?
I've never heard
Maybe
that.
that's
but
just a me thing.
we can
They do
start
now.
it. It can
They
be
do
a
now.
thing. It's
Yeah.
definitely a thing.
So, words of advice for duallies, whether they're a 1-1, a 2-3, a whatever combination.
I don't know. There's going to be so many different pathways you can take. I took the I'm going to ski for a bit. Oh, now I'm annoyed with skiing. I'm going to snowboard for a bit. Oh, now I need to switch it up. And I found that was actually very valuable because it just kind of rather than getting frustrated and so focused on one thing and doing the wrong thing over and over, it gave me time to reset. And then when I went back, it was like, oh, wait, I can do this. This is all I need to do. That is an approach. It might be a lot longer to achieve something at that rate, but my biggest advice is just, if this is what you're looking for and you wanting to do it, just take the time, carve out the time to get on the hill and practice, and take what you love about one and add it to the other, and for sure you're going to be able to transfer a lot of that across and make your teaching that much stronger. And even this, like, somebody was talking to me the other day of snowboarding and said, like, think of doing a slalom turn on your skis, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of makes sense. I mean, my feet are strapped into the same board on my snowboard, but that positioning can be very similar. So the skill sets actually transfer not equivalently, but you can transfer a lot of the skills across as well. So the biggest thing is just go for it and take a chance and just keep going. Keep doing it. If this is what you really want, just keep doing it.
I remember you said that to me, like I'm also a Duallies, definitely not at your level, but I did my level 2 a few years ago for mostly like professional purposes, trying to see what's going on the other side. And yeah, I remember you telling me that, and I haven't skied for like a long time. And then when I just got back on my skis, I was like, this is actually true. I'm a way better skier than I used to be back in the day. So I guess that's the snowboarding really helped.
Oh yeah, sliding on snow, that's an art in itself, and you're just applying the skills differently.
Love it. Well, we've talked about it a little bit, but let's dig into your connection with, well, I call them the grassroots hills. We actually talked about it on a recent episode with Andy McLean out at Martok, so we got his take on it, and so we're kind of continuing on that theme here. And I think it's important to highlight sort of, what it's like to come up from a small hill and be successful, because a lot of people do it, and I find it fascinating. Also coming from a small hill in my youth as well. But before we get into that, let's hear a little bit about Pakenham, because it's such an interesting family story that I think would be cool for you to share with the members.
Yeah, that's Pakenham's the little hill that I'm working at currently, and I've worked there all my life. It's my mom currently is the director and the owner, and she in the 90s purchased it from my grandfather, who he didn't develop it from the root. There was one run, I think it was the Davison brothers that had started this one ski run, and he took over from them and developed it into 10 runs and some glades that we've added since then. And then my mom purchased it from him and took it over. So it's been in the family for pretty much my entire life, and it's a great spot to learn how to ski. And we introduce a lot of kids, and we introduce a lot of beginners. And at some point, you learn enough and feel comfortable, and you go to maybe Calabogie, another local hill here, or spend time on a little bit steeper terrain. But it's pretty fun to see those kids who turned adults, who then had children, come back and bring their kids to the hill and kind of continue the cycle. So we have had a lot of families growing up here. They've moved on, and then they come back with grandkids and their kids, bringing their friends, and it's we never really say goodbye to our skiers and our instructors and the group that we ski with and snowboard with every year, because we know at some point they'll come back. So it's a pretty cool little spot. close enough to Ottawa that we've been getting a lot of new folks coming to want to learn to ski, which is pretty cool. But then the community with the local towns kind of keep it going every year, which is awesome. Yeah.
I think what's so cool about a place like that is, I'm sure it happens on bigger mountains as well, but just because it's so small, like everything kind of converges in the same spot, like more often, right? Like you're going to see each other every 30 seconds at the bottom, right? So there's just like this sense of togetherness that you don't get when on a kind of sprawling big mountain.
Yeah. And we talk about so when I'm teaching level 1 courses, we talk about what happens if you lose a kid? And fortunately at Pakenham, everything, like you said, comes back to the bottom, and we'll always have a facilitator at the bottom. And so it's easy to connect, but it's big enough for some of the kids who it's their first time that it's like a big deal. Our Black Diamond is like the pinnacle that they're looking to go towards on their school trip or their at the end of the season. So it's small but mighty at the same time, if that makes sense. And parents feel pretty comfortable to come, get their kids ready, march them out, and they can sit in the lounge and see it all. So even the beginner hill, like the bunny hill, the carpet. So it's everything comes back to the same spot, which is great.
Small but mighty, just like you.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
What was it like growing up there?
I'm sure I had a very different opinion growing up here than I do now. I knew all the nooks and crannies and where to not be seen by the parents. And it's amazing, where I thought was so hidden is actually not that hidden. But you can still see a lot more than I thought. But growing up there was pretty cool. Snowboarding was still growing. Like, it was still kind of early growing. And I remember when I learned, I had Sorel boots on, and I don't even know what kind of board, but it probably felt like a piece of wood with plastic bindings, like maybe Canadian Tire. So it was, and I remember my mom learning with me actually, and I think she only did it that one time, because the Sorel boots have no control. So I continued and I liked it. But most of my friends all skied, so I was kind of the rebel in the group until I converted a few others. And then just trying to find that posse of people to ride with, which was fun. And again, looking back, I did a lot of silly things that I thought I had the skills for. We still have a pretty darn good park. And the park back then, I was fearless, but landing a lot harder than I was now. I wasn't very thoughtful and intentional back then. Maybe I learned a lot in my youth that I didn't want to repeat in my older days. But yeah, the vibe was very similar from my vague recollection.
And so, like, contrasting that, like, what's it like now? Are you still trying to find places to hide?
No, because everybody, it's so hard to hide. I can't go out there without being recognized and seen. But I do recommend to my kids, like, hey, if you don't want to be seen for the next little bit, like, this is a good spot. Or no, I don't try and hide anymore. If I want to hide, I just don't go to the hill. Yeah.
Nice. Love that. So you've spoken to this a little bit, but I'll kind of just maybe pry for some more detail. What kind of lessons do you learn from coming up on a small hill? We have a large portion of our membership in Eastern Canada, Ontario, Maritimes, on similar hills. So I feel like, there might be some wise words for, how to approach small hill and, progressing.
Just maximize terrain. Like, the cool thing, a lot of the smaller resorts will have a pretty decent park setup. I know not everybody likes the park, but that's a huge area that you can develop and learn from when you may not have the length of hill or the steepness of the pitch. But also I find using any kind of monkey trail, like trying to maximize the terrain. Like we have a lot of green, we have a lot of blue terrain. We get really good at and feeling really good on that. And at some point, if we want to challenge ourselves, we have to think outside the box a little bit. Find the monkey trails, like practice some spins there, find the uneven terrain or the varied terrain. So for me, I'm kind of always looking for those opportunities when I want to, like, if I'm riding under the chair and I just want to feel like I got my edge underneath me, I'll do some good lefts and rights, but I'm trying to keep it fun. And I find seeking those opportunities and thinking outside the box and doing more than just the lefts and rights are actually going to keep those skills up and make it fun and make it a little bit more exciting. So, and versatile. Yeah.
Keep it fun, maximize terrain.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me. 'Cause yeah, going left and right is really fun, but for me, I need to spice it up a little bit. And that's maybe
Michelle,
why I continued. Yeah.
on the teaching side, I don't know if you see this there, but I mean, I'm kind of similar. I'm a product of COP in Calgary, a small place, and I found this sort of came up with Andy as well about Martok, but just the repetition that you get on the teaching side of just teaching tons and tons and tons of beginners, and like you said, you put through lots of kids, and I think that's pretty valuable from an instructor perspective as well. At least for me, it was.
Totally. You get really good at, like, you'll see the perfect student that's like athletic and like has done a whole bunch of sports and they're just take to skiing or snowboarding so naturally. And you see the folks that are brand new to snow and winter, and it's neat because every lesson is so different and you get pretty good at finding your groove and finding what works for you. And so you have like your ingredients of your recipe of your lesson, and you know what you need to use more of or what you can kind of move along, and you get to know the terrain really well, what's going to work best for your students. So I find teaching at a small resort, like, you're not just maximizing for your own personal development, but you start to become a bit more open-minded about the terrain that you're using and how that can help your lessons. Like even the smallest little slope can be a really great teaching tool, and it doesn't always have to be the same spot. And especially with our spot, it can get pretty crowded. So you got to find creative ways to keep your group learning and safe and still giving them the tools for success. So yeah, you're maximizing terrain, but on the teaching side as well, you're kind of looking for those opportunities to give the students what they're looking for, but without going to the same spot as everybody. So it's a fun challenge. And I think that's what I like the most. Every day is different. There's no repeat days. Yeah.
Do you find you
cool.
carry that with you when you end up on bigger hills, mountains, that this like maximizing of terrain?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I find like
Even though you might not
I'll
need to?
see things more than other maybe instructors that have that terrain at their disposal all the time. It's like, oh, like for them, it's like, oh, we go to this hill for this, we go to this hill for this. And I find I can see, like on a green pitch, I can see a black diamond and a blue diamond, or a blue square, sorry, and still give like challenges to everybody in the group. I don't know. For me, when I go to bigger hills, I'm still looking to maximize that terrain to make it easier, because I don't want to get lost and I don't want to spend time looking for the perfect terrain. I'm just seeing what I have in front of me and making it work. I get lost on big terrains. If I were to teach full time at like a Whistler, I would need a trail map in my pocket all the time.
You'd probably get used to it.
I might. You're right. And maybe my thinking would change, but that's for taking the small mountain to a big mountain. I would keep my mentality the same until I got used to it.
Hey, quick break from the show to tell you about one of our Pro Deal suppliers, Skabbard board sleeves. This is a company based in Whistler, BC, and they've been making these neoprene board sleeves for a few years now with the purpose of protecting your board while it's in transit. These things are awesome. If you're chucking your board into a Duallie box or into the back of the car, just slides on there, super easy, protects the base and the edges from getting dinged up. Or maybe you're the type to throw your board in the car. So not only is it protecting your board, it's protecting your seats from getting cut by the edges. It comes in multiple sizes so you can fit any board. So if you're tired of your board getting all messed up on the way to the mountain, check out Skabbard. Chuck it in the Duallie box and don't worry about your equipment ever again. Well, let's change gears. We're going to shift away from skiing and snowboarding here and talk a little bit about parenting, although I guess it's going to kind of be interwoven. So I guess we'll start off with like, how do you kind of continue to excel at a high level while still being a present parent? Like, I feel like we've got in our sort of age group, I guess we'll call it, a lot of us with kids, and I feel like this will be kind of interesting kind of advice or insights for those who are wanting to continue in their career and be awesome, but also be good parents.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It takes a village. That's been my motto for like 20 years because my oldest is 20. So yeah, finding time. I think that's why I kind of think of skiing and snowboarding a lot in my head, because I may not get the opportunity on the daily if between work and life and kids. So thinking about it and trying to keep it present in my head. But for my kids, unfortunately, they had no choice but to come to the hill. And as soon as they are and were able to stand and slide, then we would just bring them with us. So balancing parenting time was like, who's going to watch the kids while the other rides, and swap, and just, yeah, the village. I don't know if everybody has the opportunity and to have a team of family or friends. It took me a long time to kind of lean on other people to help. But I've realized that a lot of people are pretty awesome and want to help. It just took me a little while to figure out how to ask. So that's been part of how I can keep this going, is getting help from my family and friends, really. Bringing them to the hill with me and creating time for them to ski and snowboard and trying to give them their own individual time. And when we keep our riding and skiing up to a pretty high standard, so it's kind of like something that they want to be able to come and ride on the Black Diamonds with us. So like, if they keep at it, then they'll get that opportunity. But yeah, just trying to lead by example for the kids and ask for help whenever we can. And I don't know if there's a secret formula to how I got here. I just I'm trying to think of words of wisdom, but in the moment there was no words of wisdom. It was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I did it.
It works.
Having a lot of patience, taking a couple deep breaths, and prioritizing. Do I really need this today, or can this happen tomorrow? Yeah. No secret. No, there's no secret. It's just kind of doing.
Well, the secret seems to be the village.
Yeah.
And this might be the same answer here, but having babies, what sort of challenges did that pose to your training? I mean, Jen, you might want to jump in on this one too.
Well, I mean, like, aside from making the children, definitely took me out of the game for a little bit.
Yeah, Jeff and I can't
at least a year.
Here.
Although all my kids were born at the second half of the season, so I still got the first part of the year to get things done. But yeah, coming back took a little while for especially the last two. The first, so my oldest is 20. That was like a whole other world ago, and I'm pretty sure I just bounced back. But the other two, it took a little bit of time physically and like putting some energy into training my body and not just getting back onto the snowboard, like doing some physio and some physical therapy and some in the gym before expecting my body to do the same things that it did before having children. But it took me mentally a little bit longer to realize that connection. But it definitely took time and energy to bring it back. I don't know if Jen's was different, but
I can, yeah, no, I can definitely relate. I would say like the the pregnancies are probably not necessarily the hardest part, but mostly like what comes after and the expectation you have for yourself and how much time
totally.
it's going to take to get back or recover from, let's say, like having a couple C-sections, and just kind of get back into your real game and really feel present in your body and feel as strong as before. And I would say it took a little while for sure. I don't want to put any years, but I had definitely like kind of periods where it was just it just feels easy, but I also know that I went a little bit too quickly back at it without necessarily doing everything that was needed. So that did take some time. So I would say just be patient would be the key there, and ride the waves of just enjoy the time of, yeah, when the kids are small, they're small. When they get bigger, this time is gone, and it's now you have really good riding buddies with you. But it definitely did switch a few things, and especially also in the mindset, because now you're not only worried about yourself, but you're worried about the teenagers spinning big airs on a big air. Like, okay, this is okay. Like, they're going to be okay. I pushed them through this. This is cool. But like the mental game for me, like the kind of worrying part that's constantly there, it's something that I have on a daily basis to deal with. Like, just talk to myself. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, same. I mean, the mental game, definitely having kids. Def, I'm not. Takes me a little bit longer to like jump into things, like especially when the kids were young. Like, do I really want to go and launch myself off this jump and maybe hurt myself where I can't actually care for the kids and I need my arms or I can't be limping around. So that definitely played a part for a few years after um, my last kid to ease into it and build these kind of just foundational skills. So I felt comfortable enough to then push it a bit more and know my limits. But yeah, the mind game plus the physical game took some time, but baby steps is definitely achievable, and it just takes time and patience and being thoughtful with how you proceed and not just assuming that your body's going to literally bounce back the way it was, because it likely won't, sadly.
I think we have a
It's
bit of a responsibility to kind of help like encourage women to stay on their trajectory. Like, I don't know where you were at in terms of your certification pathway, but I know like a lot of women sort of halt their careers and maybe don't come back on their trajectory towards whatever goal they're working on, be it level 2, 3, 4, whatever. It'd be interesting to hear you kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I I never saw, again, this is just me and everybody has their own pathway, but I didn't see it as a like a block. It was just like another stepping stone. And maybe I plateaued on that stone for a bit. Like, hey, I'm not going to advance right now because I'm growing a human. But I knew that I would continue once I got back into the groove. So it just kind of held strong for a little bit. But it it can be hard. I think I was I had my level 3 and then I had my second 2 kids. So kind of in the process of training for my 4, I was having kids, and so it took a little bit of time. I had to balance. I think I really wanted to go for it, but I knew I had limitations, and I had to hold back a little bit and give myself the chance to have the kid before continuing. But I always knew that at that point I was so close, and that was something that I wanted to work towards. So it was just allowing myself the time to have my family, and get out as much as I can and do what I could to strengthen and mentally prepare in that. It just kind of became what I did with the kids. The resilience I was building while having kids was just transferring over to snowboarding and training.
I think, yeah, I can relate a lot to that as well. Like it was similar for me towards the level 4 process. I experienced a little bit of frustration before going into it because I wanted it so much, but I knew it was not the right time because I was parenting very young kids. And it's after my second kid, I decided to go towards the 4. And I felt like the years leading to it, I had lots of time to study, translated the CASI reference guide, and I just studied a lot about snowboarding, just read a lot and kind of cultivate that like wanting to push, but also waiting for that right timing. And I can also say that motherhood has definitely helped in terms of so many skills when you get into those exams, for example, or in this process, because you organize your life really well, and I became probably a lot healthier than I was before. I was not, things have changed from before being a mother and after. So I think like those skills are become that you develop through motherhood definitely helps with the whole process. So that would be my advice for women who are thinking about doing it, and that's also fine to stop and not do it. Like it's like it depends of where you're at, and priorities shift, and sometimes they might come back later. I just think it's about like the way you embrace the journey, and you just get back into it, or continue, or even start. Like I know some mother who just took their level 1 after having a couple of kids, and that's actually pretty amazing. And
So awesome.
yeah.
I think my youngest kids didn't really care because and they probably still don't care, but my oldest, I think at one point thought it was pretty cool that I was going to go for my level 4. So I was like, oh, okay, cool factor. I want to keep this up and keep inspiring her, because I mean, maybe
that's huge.
Subconsciously, I was like kind of showcasing like, hey, just because this is happening doesn't mean that if you have goals, you can still work towards them, and you just might meander your way a little bit more than linearly getting to your goals, and that's okay. There's no real pathway. You kind of create it. So I think my oldest was a little bit of the inspiration to keep going, because she, I think, was just getting into the level 1 process as well. So, and in instructing. So I wanted to keep that up at that same time. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That's the point in time where the layperson starts to understand what's actually happening, right? You try to explain to friends what you're doing in your career trajectory, and like, they don't necessarily really understand what it takes to get to a certain level. But once you've taken at least the level 1, you do kind of realize, oh, if this is hard, then level 3 must be really hard.
Right.
So that's cool that you were able to have that connection with your daughter. Well, sweet. I had a couple other questions about parenting, but they sort of came up organically as they do. So that's awesome. That was really cool. I found that to be an inspiring little segment. We've got more questions, but we're going to hit the palate cleanser, which is our mid-episode restart. We've got 3 little questions and no wrong answers. Well, maybe there is. We'll see. So number 1, park. Everybody can answer these. Park, powder, or groomers, if you could choose one for the rest of your days.
How?
Good
Yeah,
answer.
I would agree.
Same here.
You too, Jen?
Let's go on a cat ski
question.
trip.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I was inclined to say the same thing, but then I was like, but you can do a lot in groomers. They're so versatile. But
Yeah, but it's like a
Yeah, but the feeling.
golden nugget, the POW. It's like when
It
you
is.
get it, it's like awesome. So that is my answer for sure.
Okay, we agree. Powder. Good. Moving on. Number 1 off-season focus.
Paddling and biking.
So paddling twice and biking. Okay, sweet. Weirdest job you've ever had.
I haven't had a whole ton, but I was a cart girl at a golf course once, and I really had to dig deep for that job. There was the person I was driving that cart on men's night was not me. I did it for a couple of seasons. It was neat, but I'll stick to paddling and guiding in the summers, I think.
Good choice. I was a Dickie D back in the day when I was like a young teenager. I don't even know if people know what that is.
I don't know.
Like I had a bike with like a cooler on the front. And I paddled around and rang my bells and sold, ice cream bars and stuff.
Now I feel I have to talk about my weirdest job because I was showcasing cows at cows.
Okay, you win.
At cows show. Okay, it was for the friend's farmer on the next street because I was living on a farm, and so my parents' friend farmer, they have a big farm, and we had to just walk around. So you're all dressed in white with like a weird kind of round hat, and you're just bringing the cow to stand with like the leg in front of and then like the head like that or whatever. Anyway, that was my weird job. I didn't do it for that long. It was not very good money, but yeah, it was fun.
Didn't fill your soul. Awesome. Good times. Jeff, you have a weird job?
Nothing that weird. No, we can just move on.
We can just move on. I feel like you're holding back.
Yeah, no, nothing that compares. No.
Sweet. Good times. Nice. Well, let's move on with our little final set of questions here. Jen, I'm putting you on the spot. I'm happy to take the lead here, but the next little section was about tech team stuff, and I'm always hesitant to step on your toes here.
You're not stepping on my toes, but I'm happy to ask the question to Michelle about how's your experience on the tech team?
From our team captain. Team captain asking team member.
No pressure. You better be a good answer.
I love it, and I was really hesitant when I first applied. Did we apply for this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got selected.
Yeah. I was really nervous and hesitant to do it because I never really knew what who am I what can I bring to the table? And somebody said, like, you miss 100% of the chance you don't take. So I was like, you're right. I should just do it. And the worst case is you don't get selected. But you tried and you put yourself out there, and that took a lot of courage and energy, but I'm really stoked because it turned out well for me. And being on this team is awesome because it is like constant development. I feel like I've grown my skills skiing, teaching, snowboarding. Oh gosh, I was teaching skiing all morning. Sorry. Snowboard skills and riding and teaching have just continued an upward trajectory over the last few years because just it's provided me opportunity to practice things and think outside the box and train more instructors, and it's been really awesome. Yeah,
that's really good to know.
Yeah. Also, I have a great lead, great couple inspiring people kind of leading the team, which is yes, it's awesome, but genuinely, it's being on this team with this crew of people, and the leadership is really amazing because it's just we're continuously pushing each other and inspiring each other to push forward, which is really fun. Like, we definitely nerd out about snowboarding, and it's crazy how passionate we get about going left and right. It's
Mhm.
bananas.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
You said there, you said there when you first started talking about the team, well, what do I have to bring to the team?
Yeah.
What do you have to bring to the
I don't
team?
know.
What's your special
I'm
skill
still
set?
trying to figure that
Well,
out.
Why did you get the green
bring
light?
me. I bring me and whatever I have to bring. I know. So I was on the previous team, and I was nervous and was like still kind of figuring out my space. And in that term, my confidence grew and my understanding grew. And so I think I just bring leadership qualities and empathy to things. I'm definitely somebody that thinks of the big picture uh, and tries to think things through to the end. And
well,
hopefully I can inspire folks that way.
I can definitely complete what you're saying, because I think you're bringing a lot to the table, as any other of the tech members, but you're bringing definitely that thoughtful vibe, that questioning and taking a step back and getting really deep with your ideas, and also bringing fresh ideas to the table, which is really cool from a perspective of someone who's has so much knowledge from the industry, like sliding industry in general. And yeah, your
Yeah,
vibe is amazing on this team.
thank you.
Most folks know that our national technical team also makes up our Interski 2027 team, which is pretty cool. What are you excited about as we move into our next season and Interski in the spring?
Oh, I'm actually getting kind of nervous about this because I see other things being posted from other countries or other organizations. I'm like, oh man, we're about to go on like the world stage here. This is kind of a big deal. I'm most excited to go and represent our organization, and like, because we're pretty good. Not to brag, but we're doing a lot of really good things, and I'm excited to. I think a lot of countries know that, but I'm excited to showcase and be a part of these presentations and just kind of reinforcing the stuff that we bring to snowboarding in Canada. But I'm equally as excited to learn from the other countries because I haven't spent any other time in other organizations. I know like some folks come with New Zealand certs or British certs, so I'm excited to hear what they have to offer and see how it compares, or like I'm sure there's some golden nuggets that we could borrow and or mesh into, because other countries I'm sure are doing really great things as well. So I'm excited to learn that and hear that stuff, and yeah, meet people. Although that's a little bit anxious, anxiety driven, but I'm also excited to meet new people from all over. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement and nervous bringing this stuff to the stage with all the other countries.
So I think that this transitions in a cool way into our next topic about inspiring women within the snow sports world and outdoor professionals world. And I do, before we jump into the questions, just want to add the caveat that you're not only inspiring women, that's what we're going to talk about, because that's something special that you can do that I can't. But you're an inspiring person to our membership. And so I think that that's a really cool position that you get to hold. And so I guess moving from there, I'd like to maybe talk a little bit about how to seek mentorship. Maybe it's inside or outside snowboarding. Some words of
Yeah.
wisdom on that.
I mean, on an aside, I think you could inspire women as well, Rob. I think everybody in this platform, um, and like seeking mentorship really is putting yourself out there and asking for help. And that, whether you're female or male, is sometimes a hard thing to do. And I'm still working on that. But it's amazing that how much people want to help. And if you ask and you put yourself out there, you're likely going to receive a lot of advice and a lot of wisdom that you can filter through. But I think the biggest part is just recognizing like what it is that you want to achieve. And if it's something that you can't do on your own, like there are hundreds of people out there that are wanting to help. And I know through CASI, we have an awesome mentorship program, which this is our second year doing it and is bigger than last year. And it seems to be really receptive. And anybody that I've spoken to is really stoked that it's going on. And I think that is a platform. But I know a lot of folks that just are asking friends and using experienced folks in their industry, whether it's skiing or snowboarding, that whatever works, and just asking for that help is kind of the first step, and knowing what and how you are looking for help is really key. I'm pretty bad at asking for help, and yeah, I'm still working at it. I usually end up floundering for a little bit and then like, I need this. But I'll take my own advice and start asking people a little bit ahead of time. But I think mentorship's really key. And I definitely wouldn't be here without even just friends like cheerleading you on the sidelines, or like, hey, you should try this, and like giving you that little extra nudge, like, oh, well, if they think I should do it, maybe I should also think I should do it, and just give it a go. But again, no secret recipe.
It's a solo sport, but to get to the level that you're at, you really can't do it by yourself. That's kind of an interesting dichotomy.
I mean, you can. It's going to be hard. You're going to have battles with yourself, and you're not going to have anybody to bounce ideas off of. It's if and when you get to the end, it's kind of fun to be able to like high five your buddies who helped you there, and they're excited for you, and there's a team that are like rooting for you. And I think that is almost more important than getting to the end, because yeah, you meet a lot of people, and at that point, everybody's like probably good at snowboarding or wants to be good at snowboarding. So you kind of create your own community. I think it's definitely important to ask for help and find your people that are going to root you to the end and cheer each other on.
Yeah, that's a special feeling for sure. What has been your driving force all along? I mean, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but just kind of specifically, kind of what inspires you? What's driven you?
I mean, I grew up on the hill, so I kind of knew this was the path. I sort of knew this was going to be a path. I think I went to university, and while I was in university, I continued teaching and kind of kept it going in my 20s. And then it was about my mid 20s that I was like, I should probably stop thinking like, what am I going to do when I grow up? Like, I'm already kind of doing things and making a career out of this without really thinking about it. I was always searching for like, how am I going to change the world with a career? But while I was doing that, I was like working in this career. And so at some point I just continued going in this path and making a career out of this. It definitely took a lot of turns as I went, but my driving force was trying to stay current and trying to, if once I realized this was going to be the career path, I just like wanted to be the best at it. So when I'm teaching or training, I know what I'm talking about. I like to know all the answers, and if I don't know the answers, I like to find out the answers. So taking courses and continuing the education was a way to do it. And so now I'm in a position that I can share all of these answers and guide people on their own pathway.
Yeah, that's so rad. Well, so we're recording this episode early to mid-March-ish. So by the time it hits the airwaves, we're going to be full spring. And your river next door to you is going to be hammering. So let's talk about your summer endeavors a little bit. Tell us what summer looks like for Michelle Clifford.
Summer for me is spent on the river, on the Ottawa River in Ontario. And I'm a trip leader, so a raft guide. I lead trips. I train our new guides, and I teach kayaking and spend my summers on the river, in whitewater, in current, moving downriver. I've noticed both of my sports require really no effort from me to move forward. The hill brings me down, the river brings me down. And I navigate from that point. So our season opens up probably in May. We'll get some school trips going on, but yeah, we've had a pretty darn good snow year in Ontario, so I suspect we'll have healthy flows this spring and summer. And yeah, I'm excited. I think we still have piles of snow outside, so it's still pretty wintry here. But I'm excited to get on the water, probably at the end of April once I'm done here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And now just to kind of tie it in full circle here, what are some crossover skills, I guess we could call them, between your snow and your river season? You can tell I'm not a paddler. I don't even know what to call it.
It's okay. paddling, guiding. So I have to lead with my voice. So there's a lot of coaching actually involved. Like most people that come rafting are like, I've never done this before. So you're the tour guide, you're the safety Sam, you're the educator on how to get them to paddle and do all of these things. And so you're wearing a lot of hats in a 4-hour period. So I find those skills are similar in winter and summer. I'm like corralling people, making sure they're safe, stopping in the right spots, educating them on how to paddle, how to swim, where to swim. Hopefully not swim. Hopefully they're still paddling. And kind of keeping them safe and guiding them down the river for the day, which essentially you're doing with lessons and students and participants in lessons or on courses. But I spend the winters skiing and snowboarding, obviously, and so like my lower body gets pretty strong, and in the summer my upper body is paddling, so it gets pretty strong. So it actually balances myself out pretty well. It takes a little time to get back into the swing of things for each season, but yeah, the skill set, like the core, all the physical skills are fairly similar. And the big thing is recognizing that each year my body might have limitations, and easing into it is going to be key. Like, and not just like jumping into high water or the carrying the rafts by myself kind of thing. I need to develop those muscles moving into the season. And the same thing I know I do training in the fall, going into the winter. Like I can't expect me to be in end of season form right from the beginning. So yeah, I will spend a little bit of time kind of cross training and getting ready for the season, which I do in the summer. It's just maybe a different focus, but the 2 seasons tie in pretty nicely.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. From a class management perspective, which one's harder?
The river for sure, because being the trip leader of 120 people and putting them into 10 rafts
Water.
with their guide, I'm like here and I have to make sure everybody's doing all the things correctly. So at the end of the day, 120 people, 10 guides, all come back.
You can't just say, slide over to the other side of the hill and stop by that tree or
No.
Yeah.
No, because the river doesn't stop. So that's the difference. Like you put the brakes on the hill, but you can't totally pump the brakes when you're in the flow on the river. So you find those stopping points. Really, you're thoughtful. You pre-plan your day a little bit so you know where you're going to stop 10 boats of people. And you got to see the big picture.
Sounds like a pretty good team building activity for our crew.
It's a great team building activity, and I for sure think you all should be coming, and all of the members. Actually, I have taken some CASI members down, just kind of not through me organizing, but them coming out. And you bring a group of 5 or 6 or 10, and you're in the boat with those people for the day. So you sink or swim, really. You either make it as a team or you start kicking people off the island. But usually everybody comes together and cohesion happens. But you get to see every day. Like teaching skiing is every day is a different day, different clients, and you go through all the stages of group dynamics. And by the end of it, they're performing pretty well, just as we're pulling back into the base.
Oh, that's really cool. And wilderness trails, bike trails are awesome. So lots to do.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot to offer at the resort. We're building the trails every year. There's a few more trails. So everybody should come. I think it's a pretty fun spot to transfer all these winter skills and keep yourself fit.
Love it. Well, that's the end of our questions, at least what I have prepared. That was a really fun talk. We dug a little deeper on this episode than we have on the last couple. So thanks for hanging in there and sharing with us. That was awesome. I'm sure the members are going to love this.
Thank you. Yeah.
And to the members who are listening, be sure to hop on, subscribe, leave us a review. We're still building this and we'll continue to build this for the next long while. But thanks for being on the journey with us. If you have ideas that you want to share with us, guest suggestions, episode ideas, feel free to email us, podcast@CASI-ACMS.com. Subscribe to the show. Thanks for listening. That's all we have for today. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, that was fun.